Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game. When we last left off, Harrison climbed down that ladder and stood in the spot that he is standing now. Also, we were rescued by Boles from Gorgon Ghidra. We knocked Gorgon out and then used a flash grenade, which was pretty neat. And now here we are up in a giant pumpkin hanging from a tree. Home sweet home, I guess. And this place just gets stranger. Never mind that. The only thing I am at all worried about is how a dwarf will ever be able to get used to living as high up from the ground as we are. So, what should we do next? Before anything else, I suggest we go back to the Holy City to let everyone know we're alright. That was something I had to remember to tell everyone since Miss Ares and I had escaped the prison. I just know there was. What was it? You forgot? I mean, I know with the excitement of Gorgon and that sort of thing, it might be a little easy to forget, but you know, we're talking about the love of your life here. Let's not tell Sarah about this moment. Yes, that's right. I'll go back with you forward to the Holy City as well. Even though they managed to win that battle, it was by only a slim margin. The Narakans will probably need a lot of help getting everything back to normal, as well with carrying the fallen back from Poescas Lake. Yeah, but at least no one else in the Holy City itself, aside from those fighting, had to get caught up in all of this. Jersey probably saved a lot of innocent lives with her plan to try to find the enemy out on Yuzuki Plains before it could reach Naraka. And then, after we've done what we could for the Narakans, I guess we should keep going further south to the next continent in our search for the Dark Lord's location, as we have been trying to do from the very beginning since the day we started out on our journey from Itsuki Village. It's settled then. We'll leave for the Holy City in the morning. Dusk! I just remembered! Oh no. What's going on? What is it, you two? Dusk drops his face into his hands. I can't believe I'm such an idiot! How could I have forgotten? Well, now I feel bad for him. Pull yourself together, Featherbrain. What's wrong? Kalinka! Kalinka is in danger. What do you mean? From who? It was while Miss Ares and I were looking for the rest of you in the Ogre Demon's lair. We overheard a conversation from outside of Gorgon's chambers, and he said that blasted white-faced demon has been sent to destroy everyone in Kalinka. You mean that sociopath with a clownish face, Grandis? Yes, that man is no less dangerous than any of the other Lonis Elru knights. We must go save the Kalinkans at once, and that little girl who Dusk is in love with is in the greatest danger of all. Dusk has one of those teardrops. Ares! But what is it about that girl, Sarah, that the Dark Lord would especially concern himself with getting rid of? Because we heard Gorgon say that he knows her to be the only child of the Holy Priestess. Trust me, Laura Zenobia and Lisa Winters have had their confrontations in the past, enough for him to judge even a sweet, harmless creature like Sarah as an enemy who cannot by any means be allowed to live. Cringe. Sorry about letting that slip, Dusk. Charmies gloomily as. And even if the Kalinkan princess were not connected to a past rival of the Dark Lords, since when does evil need any particular reason for wasting lives? Kalinka. Not a moment passes once the devil is through making war on one part of Serena's creation before he turns his jealous eyes on another. The people of Kalinka cannot fight on their own like Naraka could, though. They are entirely helpless. This is utterly insane. There's just no end to this nightmare. You're right. Someone has got to go help them. Uri muses. Yeah, if it turns out that Grandis is one of the Lunas Elru Knights, then even if he's attacking by himself, the Kalinkans probably can't do much to fight back, with their magical powers as diminished as they are. Dusk, Ares? Did Gorgon give you any indication of how much time we have before Grandis can reach Kalinka? Dusk's head is down. We heard Gorgon say that Grandis had already begun his journey there. We haven't seen him since that night on the Rosalina several weeks ago, so there's no telling where in the world he left from, or how far he may be from Kalinka at this moment. It matters not either way. Even if we are actually already too late to try to stop Grandis, we can't know that for sure. Nah, this is an RPG. I'm sure we'll get there just in the nick of time. We must try to come to their rescue no matter what. If there's any chance at all that we can warn Kalinka in time, then there is certainly no time to waste. She's right. Much as I would like to check in on how our friends back in Naraka are doing, this is a much more dire problem to take care of. We should go back to Paprika and Old Willie and ask them to get us to Lelia at once. Sorry, Bullis, but you understand that we can't Of course not. The Kalinkans are the ones who need your help now. I know that everyone will just be happy to know that you four are all right. The Narakans and myself will be praying for your success. Thanks. Let's go, you guys. I have new weapons that might help you in this next part of your journey. Just come see me if you wish to take a look at them. I believe our current location is about 20 miles or so due south of Arath, if that helps you any in finding your way back to the North Pier. You know, considering how far off we are from Earth, and also the United States, I'm surprised that this world doesn't use kilometers. Sure. We know where Arath is. I think Fauna Rosary's shop, where we first met Jersey, is almost right outside of that village, so we can just follow the road from there directly to the harbor. Feel free to use the Elmina burrs I brought along with me from the Holy City to travel on. They should get you to Paprika and the Emerald in a matter of hours, fast as they are. They're parked at the base of the tree. So we still have those bird things in the story, huh? Alright. What we got here? Another shop list. Naraka helm, the gilded helm worthy of a true knight. Lynn and Harrison's third helm. Magic circlet, a mystical gold-trimmed hood. Hurry and Dusk's third helmet. Murasama, a samurai sword imbued with the touch of the fiery goddess of love. It's Dusk's fourth weapon. Onyx bow, its arrows can pierce even a dragon's scales. Lynn's fourth weapon. Okay, I'm a dragon not with scales, but with fur coat, so I can't imagine what that would do to me. Witch Killer, a powerful axe that glistens pure white. Harrison's third weapon. And the Mage Buckler, shield that is the sole reason a fragile mage can survive on monster-infested roads. Sure. Ring and Dusk's third shield. And the gold shield, the most pimped shield that a warrior can don. The most pimpin' shield, rather. Harrison and Lynn's third shield. Probably not actually going to buy any shields, but definitely interested in some of this other stuff. So let's see here. Need better weapons before you head out into the unknown? Yes. Oh, a place that sells Esther's Ale. Awesome. First things first, though, we got stuff to buy here. Not gonna worry about the armor. Let me guess, the armor is sold separately. Yep. The shields, rather. The shields is what I meant. Okay, let's start with looking at this stuff here. The Naraka helm is guard of 18. No, let's start with the weapons, actually. So, here's the situation. The Onyx bow is another bow that attacks a group of enemies, like the Elven bow we already have. In this case, the attack is -20 in order to balance out the fact that we're able to attack multiple enemies. However, if I recall... If we can switch back to it... Who still has it? Darn it! Somebody else has it. But, I think it has an attack of -12, which means, technically speaking, this Onyx bow is actually worse than the weapon that we've had for a long time. I can't remember what the reasoning for this was, whether they simply did not expect me to go this far in the game with that weapon or what, but yeah, that's kind of a situation. Also, a situation is that we don't have that bow anymore. I hope I can get it somewhere else. Okay, the Witch Killer is for Harrison. Attack of 25. What does Harrison have right now again? The Glumzingber. It's not a whole lot stronger. I might keep the Glumzingber for the time being. And save my money. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Murasama. Single attack of 28 for Dusk. And he's currently got the Kodachis, which is double attack -18. So the question is, will this weapon be better than his double attack? I feel like the Kodachis might still be the better weapon here. Maybe not. It's actually kind of close. Because if Dusk has an attack of 102, that's 51 points per attack. No, because the other weapon will basically be a difference of an extra 20 points of damage. So, the Kodachis are still better. So let's go ahead and ignore the weapons for the time being and go to these. Buy one of each, because I'm pretty sure each of these is going to be better. So give you the Magic Circlet, which is definitely better. And Lynn, you can take the Naraka Helm. So, I'm thinking that William still has the bow that I wanted to keep. Any secrets? Bolus's crib. Nice. So where can we go? There's Bella's. And the story is actually requiring that we stop at North Rayatha. Interesting. I was just wondering if we'd actually be able to visit this town. Apparently we are. North Rayatha Village. Phew. Almost back to William's Pier. Let's hope that he and the other pirates in the fleet are already back from Naraka and they are waiting for us. So this was a village Jersey had recently moved back to the Holy City from. I know she was only living here abroad as a transfer student, but I remember her saying when we had first met her that it had only been a few months since she transferred to the school here from Naraka in the first place. So I can't imagine that Jersey had much time to make friends during the short while she'd been staying in Arath. I know that observation kind of came out of nowhere, but I guess I've just been wondering what it could be that has contributed to Jersey's feelings of inferiority, that's all. Well, just imagine, a former student of sorcery now sitting in a classroom among students of Lavinia's social and topographical sciences? It couldn't have been easy for her to get along very well, especially if Jersey's self-confidence had already been shaken by many of her classmates' tendency to look down on her for her clissiness back in the school of magic she had previously attended. Miss Jersey. Quite frankly, I would be grateful at the moment if it turned out that she did not have friends she left behind here. At least none we four knew of, because I do not think that I could bear the responsibility of having to tell Jersey's loved ones of the fate that had befallen her in that war. Even though from what the Solus Emsu angels had told us, it looks like Miss Jersey will survive, the fact still remains that she was hurt very badly on our account, and may even suffer permanent damage. Poor girl. For any family or friends of hers who might live in Arath to have heard of something like that, when they probably aren't even aware of the decision she had made to join in the battle in the first place. Come on, there's no need to be so depressing, you guys. Things could have easily turned out a lot worse, even when you consider Princess Rachel's loss and Kalinka's now being in danger. Besides, I'm sure Jersey is going to be well in no time. I know she will not let death take her so soon. So cheer up, okay? Well, we've rested long enough. We have still got a good hour or so left until we reach the pier, so let's get moving. We got a faraway voice suddenly. Sniff. Sob. Sob. Hey, who's that up ahead of us at the water's edge? She looks familiar. What, you don't immediately recognize her? Miss Paprika? Hey, Paprika! Small world, eh, kid? Sniff. Sob. Hey, what's wrong? Are you crying? Are you the one who filled this water in the basin? Paprika recognizes the hero's voices, but is too heavy with sorrow to even look up at them. Her face remains buried in her tiny hands. Sniff. Oh, it's you for... I'm so glad to see that Sniff, you are still alive. Paprika finally looks up, wiping away her tears with the back of one hand. Paprika's tiny voice trembles. I am a bit embarrassed, Sniff, for you all to see me like this. I always tried to act so tough, didn't I? Hiccup. And yet, I just cannot cease these tears of mine. I feel so very helpless. Sob. Oh, I want to give her a hug. Just hold her in my arms, wrap my wings around her, and tell her that everything's gonna be okay. Miss Paprika, what troubles your poor, tormented heart so? Please tell us. Paprika wipes away more tears. Sniff. It's my master. He... Sob. The Admiral? What's up? You mean he and the others from the fleet? Yes! Sob. I think they may be all gone. Sob. You mean someone had sunk the Rosalina during the fight at Poescus Lake? How? What happened? I don't know exactly. Sob. Sniff. All I know is that sometime toward the end of the battle, after the nurses had found Jersey and U4's disappearance had been reported, I glanced out with my binoculars toward the Admiral's ship, and was horrified to see what appeared to be that same frightening elf man dressed all in black from before suddenly materialize out of nowhere onto the mast of the Rosalina. Sniff. You mean that same person who William had said was one of the two leaders that perpetrated that very first attack on the entire group of ships that had once made up the Leviathan fleet? The one that was accompanying a silver-haired dryad woman? Yes. If it was indeed him I saw, then he must have come back to slay those precious few who had managed to survive that first battle from so long ago. I was about to run to the Admiral's ship to help, but only a moment or two had passed before I saw a flash of light engulf the section of the deck where the elven man had been standing, and a loud sound followed. When the light cleared, I could see the elven man vanishing under the cover of his cape and into thin air. I thought that maybe Jersey or one of the other 9 sorcerers who had been accompanying Euphora had somehow seen what had happened and managed to set off a spell from far away that intercepted the elven man and forced him to retreat, but the Rosalina began to pull away from the edge of the lake where we had been fighting the ogres. Nonetheless, hiccup. They were leaving you? Sniff. I can only assume that perhaps the stranger in black had somehow done something to damage the ship in just a few short seconds that he was there on the mast, and that the Admiral had consequently lost his grip over the controls or something. Sniff. I tried to call out for Master and his friends as loudly as I could, but I was just too far away, and I was unable to fly fast enough after them before losing sight of the Rosalina entirely. But you said so yourself. You don't know for certain what happened to them. Maybe they're back at the pier waiting for you. You should go check there before assuming anything else, right? Paprika hides her face again. But, sob, that's just it. I thought that if anything like this ever happened, if, sniff, I had ever somehow gotten separated from my friends in the Leviathan fleet, then I would reunite with them here in Wraitha, at this very fountain. Sniff. Master promised I would never fail to be reunited with him here if... Sob. But I can't find any of them. This place is completely empty. There's no one here, and it was the same way when I, in my desperation, had ran to the North Pier to see if anyone was there. Sniff. But how is that possible? There were at least 2 of your friends who had remained behind at the pier while William and the rest were in Naraka, weren't there? At least they should have been there for certain, waiting for you. No. Sniff. Howie and Reen were both gone as well. A monster probably got them. I can't take any of this. That horrible man in black must have been able to destroy the Rosalina and everyone on her in the end. They're all gone now, and I am left alone. Sob. I am the only one left alive. Hey, come on, kid. Don't give up so easily. I'm willing to bet that Willie and the others are still alive out there somewhere. There's got to be a reason why you are not able to find them yet. You know that they wouldn't just let themselves die and leave you by yourself. You are too precious to them. Huh? Hurry! Hiccup. So dry those tears, okay, Miss Paprika? We, your friends, will never leave your side. We'll always be here to protect you. Not one more among those you love will ever be lost, for as long as you shall remain in this world, this I can promise to you. Okay, this brings up a couple of thoughts. One, actually this was a thought from earlier and nobody's brought it up yet. What happened to the walkie-talkie? Why didn't she try using that? Second, it occurs to me that being a being who lives basically forever, oh boy, watching people live and die, all your friends, repeated cycle for thousands of years, is that a life that somebody would really want to live? Yeah, probably. It'd be worth it. Dusk leans forward a little to give Paprika a light kiss of reassurance on her cheek. Sniff. Mr. Dusk, you all are so very kind. I can never fail to find solace in you, no matter how much darkness may be closing in around me. Dusk extends his hand. We will gladly take you to the holy city, if you wish, Miss Paprika. I am certain that Her Majesty and King Hotaru will be able to do something to help in such a time as this. I don't think we could have the heart to just leave you by yourself here. Besides, even if it is generally safe from the wandering monsters within the boundaries of most villages. Thank you all for caring so much about my well-being, but I must stay here. Quiet, Snivel. No matter what, if there is any hope whatsoever that Master and the others are still alive, then I will wait faithfully for them in Arath. I don't care how futile it may seem for me to do so either. This is simply what I must do. You sure about this? You'll be okay by yourself, little sister? I'll be fine. It wasn't very long ago that Arath was my home, so there are a few past friends of mine who might still be around. I won't be completely alone. Alright. You take care then. You got that, Paprika? And if you do choose to venture back to either the harbor or to the north, to the harbor to the north or the holy city on the feeling that you might find your friends there, you will call for us to come and help, right? You promise not to go out into danger alone? Paprika smiles as she gives a nod toward her magic-casting hand. I promise that I will summon all of the magical power left within me to somehow call out your names from afar, that no matter where in this galaxy you may be at the moment, you will hear my cry and be able to come right to my rescue. There's no doubt in my heart that you would, my dear friends. Adios then, Paprika. We'll see you again soon someday. Okay, there was a moment there where one of the angels was shouting at Uri, and I thought that meant that, oh boy, here comes trouble, be prepared. I need to watch that again and find out what the shot was actually about.